Today I'm going to be telling you how you can save time by batching your social media using this system. We'll be giving you 6 categories that you should be posting about, and if you haven't already, definitely head over to Multi-Passionate Mompreneur so that you can get the visual that goes along with this, which came from a training that we did in the group. I hope that you find value in this. I hope that it helps you to up your social media game so you can get more present with your family, get back to basics, and get more centered. Because when it comes to it, social media can work for you, but it can also be a big black hole. All right, so let's go. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how to save time and feel balanced, which I hate that word. By now, you guys probably know I hate that word. But to feel more centered and planned and just all the things by batching your social media. So we will be talking about the 6 categories that you should be posting about and a system that I use to really kind of organize all the ideas. If you're going to be batching, that means that you have a lot of things going on at once. And so if you don't have a plan for when that you want that to go live, then you can feel maybe a little scattered, a little unfocused, and ultimately kind of scrambling. So maybe you have some pockets of time in your day, whether that is because you are chasing toddlers like me, or maybe you are fitting in your business into your work life. Now, we're going to kind of go over what we want to plan, and then we're going to hop off and actually do the planning. I definitely suggest that you guys take some of our tips and do the same so that you can get ahead for next month. I think this is the perfect time for me to plan. We are hoping to go on vacation if nothing gets shut down. We have July 4th weekend away to go visit family in Tennessee. So it's kind of like if I can get this pre-planned, then yes, I still will need to go and engage with my audience, but I will also be able to have more time freedom to know that my business can kind of keep going somewhat while I'm not, tied to my phone. So I know that many of you hopefully are logging off social media this weekend, so we're hoping that this video will be here for you when you return on Monday. But we just wanted to get on here and make sure that you guys had some guidelines for what to post, maybe even when to post, and kind of to make you feel more confident in what you're posting. Grab a paper calendar, and then we will also download Trello if you haven't already downloaded Trello, or any online tool that you can ideally work from your phone and a desktop. The reason I really like that you can work it from your phone is that your phone is always with you. So it kind of means that if you are even on a walk and inspiration strikes, you can pull out your phone and you can even do a voice memo and link it there. You can, jot down the idea, and so it doesn't get lost. I think this is really helpful for me, and I hope it will be helpful for you. So we're going to not dive too much into this, but I do want to touch on it just for you so you guys know what we're doing on the paper calendar. So next week, I'm going to be having an episode on the podcast about cyclical mapping and what in the world that is. And basically, it's the idea that you aren't the same person as a woman from week to week, basically depending on your hormones and where you are at in your cycle, that it fluctuates. And so you can't expect yourself to perform the same way on, for instance, week 1 when you're menstruating versus week 3 when you're ovulating. And yes, this sounds like I could totally go off the deep end and start talking about this, but I want to save that for our episode. I have an expert coming on July 1st to do the interview, so that it will post on the podcast soon after. So I don't want to get all into that, but essentially what we're going to do is plan out our weeks 1 through 4 based on cyclical mapping so that we can know when is the best time for us to create content. So for us, week 1, we want that to be kind of our week of rest or planning, kind of like the ideas, maybe even planning out things that don't put us right in front of people because we want to conserve our energy. For me, I've noticed that this is also a time for me to get back to basics. Sometimes that might even mean like finally cleaning out my closet or doing some of that stuff that's still productive, but it's not really affecting other people. It's more like bringing it back to center. For instance, habits, maybe waking up and like doing the daily practice with your journal or a daily practice for self-care, and really even changing maybe even your workouts. So gauge your expectations based on this, and you'll get more information on that later. But so we have week 1, and then week 2, you start gathering more energy. Week 3, you're like ready to run. Okay. So I am actually going to monetize. I'm going to monitor like what my energy is like on these next couple weeks and make changes to my Calendly so that basically I have more spots open for photo shoots or for interviews or for coaching calls or whatever that could look like for you for week 2 and 3. As week 4 goes, then maybe that would be something to where you're editing the podcast or editing the photos, or maybe even doing the back office stuff of your business. So if you batch, you'll still feel like you're not taking a week off, right? Like you'll still have plenty to do, plenty of editing to do, or plenty back office stuff to do. So, and we have wrote down our weeks, jot those down, and then basically that will tell you what week in the calendar that you want to kind of plan your interviews or plan recording for your podcast. And I think it will help us gauge our expectations. We kind of expect that we're going to be like running at full speed, I feel like, the whole month. And so I think it gives us permission to not. And so that's actually one of the reasons why I really like the Enneagram. It gave me permission to be these other, these characteristics that maybe even are seemingly negative at first, but kind of lean into like, I was made this way, so let me just own it and pivot as needed, or, use the information to work on different things or whatever. But all right, so now that we have our weeks kind of laid out, we kind of know when we want to batch. So let's go ahead and open Trello. I will share my screen. All right, so you'll want to go to Trello.com, and if you haven't already used Trello, definitely go back to my podcast playlist, Trello workflow series, because I teach you and show you with Loom how to go through and make a board, make list, and make cards and that sort of thing, and how I use it for a workflow. So you can actually make a whole other board for you to do your editorial calendar, social media calendar, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So Michelle, I have over here, like, I like always having a brain dump space because that's a spot for me to be able to dump my ideas and really just feel like I don't have to have it all organized at once, So, all right, so the 6 ways are: the first one, promotion; the second one, engagement; the third one, inspirational; fourth one, educational or trainings; and then we go into the 5th one, which is authentic connection, and then entertainment. So let me go into each one of these. Promotion is going to be things like client testimonials, your actual product, your discounts that you might have. Maybe you're promoting a coaching session, a photo shoot, a freebie, something that you want them to either probably get on a mailing list for your email, or maybe even a service or a product. And then engagement, this is going to be something that is like questions, fill in the blanks, polls, definitely posting actually interactive things in your stories, captions, maybe post a picture and something that they can resonate with, that they will want to caption. And then also there's inspirational, which is, I think people do know this one and they do it pretty regularly, is quotes. And you can go to Unsplash or some other kind of royalty-free type of service where you can get the photos and you can end up using those. And that's a good way for you to have the imagery to go with something that you have written inspirational. And it could also be stories, so success stories, or something where you're doing that visualization part of showing them what could happen. And then education is going to be trainings, webinars, 5-day challenge, tips. I think this is also a lot of times going live, but you can also go live for the next one, which is authentic connection. And so that is where you're showing the messy parts. You're being vulnerable. You are, you are showing them your life. And so that might be where, you're not all perfect and made up and you go in your stories, or maybe, that you are letting life be messy or be vulnerable. So there is some really value to not being perfect all the time. And then entertainment. So that's going to be things that are funny, maybe memes, maybe viral videos or TikToks or different things like that for people to engage with. Now, I think that when I say social media, a lot of people think of, I want people to engage and comment, but our ultimate goal really, and this is like deep engagement, is when if you can get the people to engage with each other. So that's something to definitely think about as you're making your posts. Like, how can I get them, one, to engage
with what I post. And then ultimately, how can I get them to kind of talk to each other? Because then they're not only talking to you, but you are creating a space for them to build relationships and to interact with each other's content. And Facebook will kind of be like, oh, they're friends. I'm going to keep showing them your stuff. And so hopefully that was helpful for you guys. And then what I really like here, like I mentioned before, is that you can add things to here and then continue on, and you can move them to the different areas. You can make labels, which I mentioned on the playlist, and you can pick what in the world you want to do here. I've created a Zap, which is one of the automations that can tell me that if I make a post, it can go here. I don't know if I love that, but I do like that I can look back on different posts and see how they did. But I think this is mostly a tool for organizing to make sure that you're not just like, for instance, promoting,
Hey, Mama,
because it should be a ratio. You really shouldn't have like more than 10 to 20% promotion. It really should be more about serve, and not sell. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I'm actually going to click off of our live here in a minute, but let me know if you have questions on different posts. And then I hope that you guys do this too, and I hope that you find it helpful to have these 6 categories to know what to post. If you would like a copy of this board, let me know and I'll work on getting that to you. And then, yeah, hope you guys have a good day.